Greetings, I am Leona Huffines, and I want to talk to you about permanent healing, because since I wrote this book on healing yourself with light, I discovered that people would get themselves healed, but they didn't always hold that healing. So that's not in the book. And I thought if we went over some of the main points of having permanent healing, it would make a big difference. It could in your life. So a few points to remember, and I'll put all of these on our healingwithlight.org website so that you can just find a list and print them out. But first is to really note any feelings of anger or fear, resentment, blame. It's totally amazing. But if you replace those with gratitude and love and forgiveness and humor and delight, it will make a large difference in the energy that's going into your cellular structure and into all of the tissues of your body. It will help reconnect the acupuncture points so that your body works as a whole and not just as different pieces that you're always working on. There's another one. It's compassion. Just feeling that compassionate spirit of understanding for others is a great aid into developing compassion for yourself. Few of us have enough compassion for ourselves. We'll talk about that later. The next one is to believe that a new and finer wholeness is possible. It is never too late. I don't care if you're 95. It is not too late to develop a wholeness in your body, a kind of healing that is quite permanent and gives you a sense of ease instead of that subtle anxiety that floats over people when they've been sick, that it might happen again. I remember a woman calling us once on the phone, and I happened to answer it that day, and she said, "Well, I got your tapes about 3 years ago, and I had serious breast cancer, and the doctor said I had to have surgery immediately." And I said, "No, not yet. I'll let you know." And she said, "I went home, ordered your tapes, or the healing. It's the healing CDs that go with the book." I would guess that she listened all day long and all night. She said, "That's been 3 years. I healed that. It took about 6 months, and it all went away, and they can find no trace of it." I said, "We would never have told you to do that. Ever. We would have told you to use it as a complementary medicine, the thought, the mind, and the divine self." She said, "Well, it worked for me." And I knew that she had done it, but she had the belief. So it is a belief that a new and finer wholeness is possible, and that you and the angelic healers can create a healing that you can ignore all the pessimistic statistics for anything and all of the negative expectations of others. It's between you and the healing angels in your soul. And that's what creates the healing, the belief in them and in your own innate spiritual power to bring healing into your body. The next one is your will to be healed. We have a list on our website too of how high is your will to be healed, because when people study that, they have to smile and acknowledge that they've broken every rule if they really wanted to be healed. And the thing to do is to raise your will to be healed so that you have an intention that's steady, it's foremost in your mind rather than in the background. And the other, of course, is to eat the best food. Why not get Good foods, highest quality, fresh foods. Direct sunlight, I feel, is very important, and you need that sunlight directly on your skin whenever possible so that it reaches here, and in the back the same two spots. This is what brings vitality. And it's great to take vitamin D. Yes, most everybody needs it. And you may also need that. But direct sunlight, whenever possible, for a few minutes, a few times a week, is unequaled in its power to heal, to revitalize your body, to regenerate your cells. The other one is increase the circulatory flow and the oxygen supply, and this simply means exercise. There's no substitute. It's easy to walk, if possible, walk. Do a little more than you think you can every day, and soon even that will be easy. I can tell you that's true. I've seen many people learn from scratch, and when they were in their 80s, and end up going on a tour of Egypt and being at the head of the group. Right. Revitalize yourself with sleep. There's some sort of feeling of getting away with it if we don't sleep enough. We think we got away with something if we only got 5 or 6 hours. But really, I'm not sure we got away with it at all. Sleep regenerates, and it not only regenerates your body, for your body's busy all night, but it regenerates your mind. It reconnects you in the deepest of the sleep states with who you are. You connect with your divine self. It's like you're plugged in to the real world, your real source, which simply is too far distant from the personality for it to be known. Sleep is essential. And the last one is look ahead to the future. Create in your imagination a delightful future, and not too distant, somewhere within the next 3 to 5 years for sure. And be outrageous, completely outrageous. You know, if for example, if you knew you had 3 years to live and there wouldn't be any sickness and no funeral arrangements, you just have 3 years, what would you do? What is it you haven't done that you would love to do and you keep putting it off for what we'd call practical matters? I had a friend who was much older, and she was unable to get out of the hospital after surgery. She couldn't get well enough to get out of the hospital. And I had the audacity to go to her husband and have him offer her a wonderful trip, because he never had time to take her anywhere. And they had the means to do it, but he was too busy. He did offer it to her. And he said, let's go. And he named some wonderful place she had always wanted to go. And I think she only half believed him. But do you know what? In 24 hours, she was released from the hospital. All of her systems began to function perfectly. Try these 8 steps to get permanent healing, and it will make an enormous difference, even if you're not sick. It will engage you as a mental being, as a spiritual being, and as a physical being in an alignment that takes you right where you want to be, right where you want to go in your life.